And this is one final match for him at this wonderful stadium.
It is a club that has been revolutionized in recent seasons. The change to the shield, the crest, the change of stadium. And the one thing that has remained constant, they continue to win. And today, not just the final match for Gianluigi Buffon, but also for Stefan Lichtsteiner, who's been a member of all 7 of these consecutive Scudetti. Claudio Asamoah also saying goodbye, though he has to wait for his spot from the bench. Verona, they'll be in Serie B next season, second from the bottom in Serie A at the moment. Their relegation has already been confirmed. And they'll hear this Serie A anthem for the last time in at least a year. And you look to the old lady, and Juventus sporting a different kit, and this man saying goodbye, not to football, but certainly to Juve. And for Gianluigi Buffon, the suggestion that he's not quite done playing yet. And plenty of speculation surrounding his future. And today, it is just a cause for celebration to put all the other things aside. He said he'd be officiating crew for this one. As Riccardo Pinzani of Empoli is the head official. Marco Citro and Giovanni Colella will run the lines. Di Paolo's the 4th official. And Vasca is the VAR referee. Not out of contract yet, but Claudio Marchisio in the 11 today with rumors swirling that he could be moving on.
There's been a lot of talk in the Italian media. A lot who has spoken to Max Allegri talk about a rebuilding summer. Juve have lost so many big pieces through the years, but the spine has always been intact. The back line, the goalkeeper, the midfield, the leaders behind the scenes. Will this be the summer that a lot of those pieces are gutted? We know that Buffon's leaving. We know that Stefan Lichtsteiner is leaving, the right wing back who's been starting every single season since Juve went on this incredible Scudetto run 7 years.
There is Fabio Pecchia, the 44-year-old manager of this Verona side. And will he be sticking around for Serie B?
Look at the new kits as well for Juve. Absolutely beautiful. Just 2 stripes going across the front. Always in keep with our continual modernization of the club.
What a luxury to have that kind of bench. Sami Khedira, Matuidi, and Salou Higuain all waiting their spots. A big grin on the face of Max Allegri, and why not? 4 consecutive league and cup doubles under Max Allegri. It has been nothing but domestic dominance under a man who maybe wasn't universally beloved by all of the Juve fans. When he first arrived, there was a little bit of a hesitation, but it has worked out but as nicely as anyone could have imagined. The ball rolls at the Allianz Stadium. Juventus, Verona on match day 38. Alongside Matteo Bonetti, I'm Andres Cordero. Thanks, as always, for spending time with us for Serie A on BN Sports. For Juve, it's a back 4 of Lichtsteiner, Rugani, Berzaghi, and Alexandro, with Berzaghi out of contract at the end of the season, and Lichtsteiner on his way out as well. Not just Buffon saying goodbye today. Pjanic, Marchisio, and Sturaro make up the 3-man central midfield, with Dybala, Douglas Costa, and Mandzukic up front.
Switch
to Douglas Costa. Puts the ball to sleep on his left foot. Beautiful ball to the back post. Mandzukic won't get there. as Brian does.
2018, I think he's been one of the best performers for Juve, certainly the best in the last few months, an assist machine. And when he's off on this left-hand side, he's much more of a natural winger. His crossing ability, Andres, has been sensational. It's the way he whips in the crosses, not just accuracy, but he whips them in with so much pace. He hardly gives the goalkeeper time to come out and meet the ball. What a brilliant player.
First corner of the match. Driven out of the box, it's Dybala who skies his shot out of the training ground between Pjanic and Dybala.
And all these talks about Juve and Buffon haven't even begun to talk about Hellas Verona. It's much different circumstance for them. It's really been a terrible season for Fabio Pecchia and Verona. 10 points away from salvation. They're going down to Serie B after just one season up. And surprisingly, they have kept their manager Fabio Pecchia, who's the longtime #2 of Rafa Benitez, despite very poor results. Problem with Verona is they just haven't been able to score. It's an inability to generate much offense. Only 29 goals on the season. That's tied for the worst alongside Sassuolo.
And it got worse once the Juve loanee Moise Kean went down with an injury.
So
ended his season prematurely.
Pazzini went to Levante. It's their only established striker.
Look out, a foul just outside of the area. And there's Romulo, ex-Juve man. Spent a long loan spell at Juventus that was plagued by injuries.
When you look at the strikers for Verona, Ryder Matos hasn't scored since 2015. He's their starting striker. Fares, the winger, has never scored in his career. And then you have Alessio Cerci, who I'm not sure what he is at this point.
Not the same Cerci from the Torino days.
No, it's been a long time. Only played 14 minutes all of last season with Atletico Madrid.
Claudio Asamo has said his goodbyes. He's moving on, reportedly to Inter.
Now, that's another player, Andres, that's been part of that backbone. He's starting
6 of the 7.
6 of the 7 under Conte. Turned him into a left wing back. Remember, Asamo at Udinese was a central midfielder. It's only at Juve that Conte decided to play him as a left wing back, and he really did take that role up so well.
It is 4 across the back for Verona with Nicolas in goal. Romulo, Caracciolo, Ferrari and Subrian make up the back line. Marco Fossati joined by a couple of youngsters, the 22-year-old Rolando Aarons and Andrea Danzi. Look out, this is a good ball into the box. Lichtsteiner gets there. And up front it's Ryder Matos, Alessio Cerci and Mohamed Fares.
Such classy touches from Dybala. Every time he's on the ball, he's playing the right ball. He's had a lovely switch already.
Iglis Costa. Sturaro measuring up. Sturaro skies his shot. Nicolas is wondering where his defense went.
No, they didn't track back. At least a lot of them. There was plenty of room between the midfield and the defense. Verona, nothing to lose, nothing to play for, committing plenty of bodies on this attack. It's a good job from Lichtsteiner, just staying in front of his man Ferrari, who had made the run all the way from the center back position.
Out for Juve throw. 92 points for Juve. They won't get to the triple digits that they achieved under Antonio Conte, but since Allegri's taken over, it's not just the 4 consecutive league and cup doubles, but a couple of Champions League finals as well.
Yeah, and that's the big difference. Antonio Conte, who infamously said that you can't go to a €100 restaurant with a €10 note. Allegri tried to buy out the entire restaurant himself.
Pjanic is fouled here by Marco Fossati.
And that was the big difference, Andres. As soon as Max Allegri came in, Juve started, you could say, overachieving, but making it to the final twice in the Champions League when there's teams with much higher wage bills all over Europe. That was quite a remarkable accomplishment, and hasn't stopped winning, whether it's been the Scudetto or the Coppa Italia.
Aarons is upended here as Claudio Marchisio in his way.
Also the versatility, Andres, of this Juve side. Sticking with that 3-5-2 as long as Conte was there, then seamlessly switching to a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3. They can give you so many looks. They can drop back and play catenaccio. They can attack you. They can hit out on the counter. It really is a team that's like a chameleon. And even this season, we've seen them play in all sorts of ways. You think back to that first leg against Tottenham when they played very deep, maybe too deep.
Long ball. Alexandro would chase it down to deny Romulo.
Ex-Juventus, Romulo. Though he only played 277 minutes, as you mentioned, Andres.
Lichtsteiner. And Dybala tried to give it back. Aarons shields the ball. It's given away by Caracciolo. Fossati. Swung back for Romulo. Here is the Verona captain who's dispossessed momentarily by Sturaro. Cerci trying to get around Alexandro. Now it's Douglas Costa who makes the block and a throw for Verona. Romulo will leave it for Andrea Danzi, 19 years old, making his fourth Serie A start, debut this season. Danzi out of the Verona Primavera side, still has a Primavera contract, not yet a full-fledged member of the Verona first team. Here's Rugani. Lichtsteiner. Marchisio.
Great to see El Principino getting some time. Marchisio has been a bit frustrated with his lack of playing time, but has suffered so many injuries over the last few years. Said he wants to be at Juve for life. Former ball boy at the Dene Alpi.
Lichtsteiner. Andrea Barzagli. As Pjanic thought about the long ball to Mandzukic, instead leans on Sturaro.
Something we talked about a lot last week is how good Juve are when their backs are against the wall. Even in the last month, they've had plenty of nervy moments. You think of Koulibaly's winner at the stadium in the last seconds of the game. That gave Napoli half a hope, and then Juve, the win against Inter, the Giuseppe Meazza. So many times, when everyone wants to talk about any contenders, it's Juve that show that everyone else is essentially just a pretender except them, at least for the last 7 years.
Long switch looking for Mandzukic on the near side, and Alexandro could not find him.
Different role for Mandzukic today, leading the line instead of playing out wide on the left-hand side. There's that target winger. Five goals on the season. Another player who's been rumored to leave Turin.
And getting a chance, Mario Mandzukic today, to play as an outright center forward in his natural position. An opportunity he's had the last month or so of the season. He's been used predominantly out wide by Max Allegri.
Yeah, and that's why
mostly for his defensive effort.
Can't really look at his goal tally when he's playing so wide. He's tracking back.
Here's Romulo. And cross toward the penalty spot. And a chance that goes begging for Verona. They'll play out through Rugani. Could have a much bigger role to play next season. Daniele Rugani, 22 starts this campaign. He'll be 24 years old at the start of next season. Costa, brilliant from the Brazilian. Lichtsteiner. Levered into the area. Not able to link up with Mandzukic. And settled by Dybala. Just beyond the reach of Sturaro.
And again, that counterattack because of Costa getting by his marker. Blows right by Alex Ferrari. Quick touch. He's so explosive with his first few steps. His end product has been so consistent as well. That was maybe one thing that was talked about earlier on, that could always get by his man, but an inconsistent end product from the Brazilian.
Backheel flick from Mandzukic, a little long for Douglas Costa, and Caracciolo clears the danger. Well, do join us via the beIN Sports Connect app. You can stream live matches from all of the leagues. We cover 11 different channels of beIN Sports programming, including plenty of Serie A. Steiner squeezes it into the middle. Pjanic quickly forward, looking for Mandzukic. Just comes off of Fossati, but he recomposes. More direct approach this time from Verona. Reader Matos won't get there, but Izai keeping a close eye. Well, you mentioned that goal scoring has been a problem for Verona all season long. And the lack of a consistent, proven goal scorer that they can turn to. Big part of the reason they're headed back to Serie B. Here's Douglas Costa. Cross to the back post, looking for Mandzukic. It's plucked out of the air by Nicolas.
That's the right idea. Always looking for the big target man, Mandzukic, and this time he put it a little bit too close to the goalkeeper, Douglas Costa.
Marchisio. Mandzukic with his back to goal, draped by Verona defenders, and his hold-up play is excellent.
His first touch has improved as well the last few years, hasn't it?
This falls to Lidsteiner on his right. Scooped into the area. Now Romulo. Sturaro full of energy, keeping pace with the Verona captain. And dribbles it out of the play area. Headed to Serie B, but their dignity intact as few of the traveling Verona fans making noise at the Allianz Stadium.
They were at least hoping that they'd see the other team from Verona, Chievo, join them down in Serie B. It's one of the more heated rivalries in Italy. You know, Chievo is just a little quarter of Verona, small part of it. Hellas Verona is by far the bigger team in the city.
Well, of course, there are a few things left to be decided in Serie A tomorrow, and that is fourth place between Lazio and Inter, as well as the last relegation spot is Marchisio's shot.
So as it stands, you have 5 teams, is it, fighting for?
Oh, including Chievo. Anyone from 14th down, not yet safe. Chievo on 37 points. Just 2 points above the drop line. We got Chievo, Udinese, Cagliari, and Spal, who are on the right side of the relegation line. Crotone on the wrong side at the moment, joining Verona and Benevento.
More of a relegation special, tomorrow's noon multicalcio.
Matos wins the aerial battle. It falls for Cerci, dispossessed by Marchisio. There's Rugani in unfamiliar territory. He wins a throw for Juve. Pjanic. Costa. Alexandro. Douglas Costa showing a little too much of the ball to Caracciolo. Check that it was Ferrari sliding in. And Romulo tripped up by Sturaro, and those two are developing a little battle of their own in midfield. Sturaro, the guilty party this time.
That's what he's there for, to provide that physical presence in the midfield. Stefano Sturaro, he hardly plays from the first minute. It's only his 8th start. So when he does get the chance, he has to really show his difference with his work rate. It's never going to come from his talent. Just an industrious player that gives Allegri a different gear.
Here's Fossati. Aarons. Newcastle only.
Isn't a bad move either from Fades, who turned in on his right. He's never scored a goal in his career, so imagine getting your first against Buffon in his send-off, but it's lovely reactions from the 40-year-old.
First shot on target from Verona. Romulo sends it wide awkwardly for Ferrari, but Alex Ferrari able to settle.
Andres, even for the people who aren't Juve fans, there is a sort of Andres Iniesta-like quality to Buffon, where most Italians will remember what he did for the national team in 2006 and his heroics. I still think the biggest reason why Italy did win was because of Buffon's performances in 2006. The best goalkeeping stretch I've ever seen in my life came from this man that year.
We'll just go down the long list of excellent goalkeepers who have been compared to Buffon throughout the years. Buffon always in the conversation. The ball's played out for a Juve goal kick. As far as his earlier effort, parried wide by Buffon. Seems to be leaving the Juve goal in good hands as Wojciech Szczesny, the man slated to replace him. Lichtsteiner. Driven into the area. He was looking for Mandzukic. It's going to take some getting used to these new Juve kits. It looks like they're dressed in all whites until you see them from the front. High press of Juventus with Mandzukic leading the charge. Won by Lichtsteiner. Does well to find Paulo Dybala. And Fossati nods it back for Nicolas.
I like the kits. I wonder what you guys all think. Do tweet us and share your opinion. Of course, one of the big reasons why Juve changed the logo was to modernize.
Look out, running into a bit of trouble there. Caracciolo, he's giving the ball away to Mandzukic.
That's what he does so well. That's why Mandzukic is one of the fan favorites, his constant work rate. And there, Caracciolo, not sure why he took that extra touch instead of just playing it out wide to the right back, Romulo.
Here's Rugani. Lovely ball to find Paulo Dybala. It's Dybala out in front, Dybala on his left. Wide for Douglas Costa, driven into the area and gathered up by...
Oh, that's where Costa was trying to whip that ball into. So Mandzukic went far post and that ball had no lift on it.
Matos under pressure from Barzagli, who's come a long way out to meet him. And it's Reader Matos. Rolando Aarons working against Lichtsteiner. It's the Swiss international who gets a touch. Corner kick for Verona.
Yeah, Lichtsteiner takes Aarons on a ride on the Swiss Express. Always a solid fullback. Not the most flashy, but tactically astute.
Romulo delivers near post. Caracciolo nearly got a touch and a foul whistled against Verona. You get the sense as long as the Scudetto stays on the shirt, the fans won't care too much how many stripes or what the colors are. It's that little emblem right in the middle.
And the Coppa Italia badge as well. Don't forget about that. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Here's Sturaro. Douglas Costa. How important has he been down this final stretch, Costa? Bayern loanee with an obligation to buy at the end of the season and has come through in some of the biggest matches for Juventus.
He's a big game player and he fits in with a team that has Champions League aspirations, that's for sure. He's a player that'll terrorize a back line, and every single game he just consistently poses as a threat.
Lovely work from Pjanic. Trying to drag it back across. Douglas Costa was looking for Dybala, but deflected out for a Juve corner.
And you get two shades of Costa depending if he's on the right or the left. Now that he's on the left, he turns into a natural winger. He's always looking for the cross first, but when we've seen him on the right, then he can cut in on his favored right foot and scored some spectacular goals, curling them to the top corner.
Driven in near post. Alexandro and Mandzukic, or rather Rugani was there. Out the other side for Mandzukic. Romulo thought he had a throw. It's Mandzukic who puts it back in play for Dybala. Matos' arm comes up as he fouls Paulo Dybala. Free kick here for Juve.
Elbow came up and caught him there. But Matos just extended it. I think we could easily see a yellow card for that.
And so it will be Pjanic to deliver this free kick. Pjanic toward the penalty spot. Sturaro was making the run. It was the youngster Andrea Danzi who got a touch. Pjanic. Marchisio looking for Mandzukic. Rizai nods it back for Rugani. There's Lichtsteiner, a bit of space. On his left, Lichtsteiner goes for goal. Why not have a goal on your last game for Juventus?
Left-footed blast from Lichtsteiner, not exactly how you'd expect it. Wonder if they might actually keep Pecchi around for a bit. He's the man that got them up to Serie to begin with. Was the number 2 at Real Madrid, at Newcastle, and Napoli, always under Rafa Benitez.
Sati sends it wide. Ferrari. Alexandro. It's it back to Barzagli. Pjanic. Rugani. Sturaro. Closed down by Aarons as Sturaro's dispossessed. Marchisio trying to win it back. He's done so. Cerci felt he was pulled back. It wasn't spotted by the referee. And here's Paulo Dybala. Costa.
So well, Mandzukic just backs away from his marker, Suprayen. It's a lovely ball as Cerci's dispossessed far too easy. Marchisio with no hesitation to play that ball. And who else but Douglas Costa this time floats it up. He's seen that Mandzukic has been trying to make that run more at the far post. And there he's backing away from his marker. Perfectly weighted ball. Nicolas has not really instilled too much confidence for Hellas Verona. I'd say out of every goalkeeper in Serie A is probably near the bottom in terms of performances this season. Very much a mistake-prone keeper. Long-time Serie B player.
Flicked on by Cerci. Now for a Juve throw. Steiner. Pjanic. Marchisio. Bit of a different look to Juve's midfield today.
Mandzukic been at that hold-up play again with his back to goal. He's bullying these Verona center backs. They just can't seem to dispossess him. And that first touch to lead it in for Dybala to invite that run towards the edge of the box. That is brilliant work from Mandzukic, and not many more dangerous players than Dybala from that distance. That's very much in his range.
And Dybala, who scored a brace in the reverse fixture when these two sides met back in December. Barzagli. It's it back to Buffon. On the middle for Pjanic. It was a 3-1 win for Juve at the Marcantonio Bentegodi. Two late goals by Paulo Dybala to win it in what was a tight affair up until those final 15 minutes or so. Matuidi had scored 6 minutes in. Martin Cáceres, the ex-Juve man, had leveled before the Dybala brace settled it for the old lady. And of course, Verona beat Juve previously in 2016. Dybala also on target in that match from the spot. There's Marchisio. Scooped into the area for SCUDETTO and not able to reach his target. Now Costa. Romulo, full of energy. And Pjanic intercepts. Quick feet from Douglas Costa. Steiner. Dybala. Oof. It's hacked down by Subrian. Well, he was making a play for the ball, Samuel Subrian, but he catches all of Paulo Dybala. Short on options, Nicolas forced to play it long. Fares. Here's a question for you, Matteo, from OSG Nelson via Twitter. When was the last time that Seriea had a moment like today where a legend was getting a send-off, yet he felt he still had more to give? Well, Andrea Pirlo comes to mind.
Yeah.
Matos. I had to find them again. Aaron's, of course, Pirlo not as identified with Juve as Buffon is.
Oh, it's a good question. Think of the difference with Francesco Totti. When he had his send-off, he wasn't really making that much of an impact on the pitch anymore, but obviously such a legendary figure. But you're right.
Well, that's the part, the feeling he still had so much more to give, because Buffon in his press conference when he did say goodbye insisted that maybe 2 weeks ago he was ready to retire, but after hearing a couple of offers, not so much, and he's not interested in joining a minor league. He's yet to win the Champions League, and so it looks like Gigi could be headed to another European giant.
And we've heard talk to some ex-players who have said the same thing. It's more about the mental state. Is he ready to give it another season at 40 mentally? And it seems like the answer is absolutely yes. He's obviously not going to play in Serie A ever again. It's been linked to Paris Saint-Germain, some other very big teams.
Here's Romulo, has a step on Alexandro's, brought down by Alexandro.
And the 2-year contract that we keep hearing, that means he'd be playing till 42 years old. How about that? Which for a goalkeeper we've seen before, but still quite an incredible accomplishment.
Aarons. Danzi. Romulo. Romulo trying to get around Marchisio. His cross is blocked by Alexandro. His second chance for Romulo. Tried to go through the legs of Alexandro and wins a corner for Verona. Half hour played at the Allianz Stadium. Verona 0. Juventus 0.
There's not going to take too many risks. Had to put that ball out. He knew that he was going to put it just wide of Buffon's near post. He didn't know who was behind him for Hellas Verona.
In swinger, back post this time, punched away by Buffon. And chased down by Danzi. Fossati. Ferrari swings it in, a little deflection. Might have changed the path of the ball, but Buffon had his eyes on it. And there's the guest of honor, the Serie A trophy making its way out, and Juve ready and happy to collect. Thanks for staying with us. Hope you've enjoyed the match, and if you're a Juve fan, you've certainly enjoyed this season. Another league and cup double, and it ends in winning fashion on home soil. Over these 7 seasons, Matteo, we have seen strong challenges from the likes of Roma and Napoli, to the extent that Roma have set new club records in points. Napoli have set new club records in points and wins. And both have fallen short of knocking Juve off the throne.
Every
They've been made to work for these 7 titles. Mattia De Sciglio, the first to come out of the tunnel.
Joined last season from Milan. Joined Allegri, the manager who was with him with the Rossoneri and always an admirer.
Piedi buoni, grande corsa, un talento naturale, arriva dalla Juve, piazza il suo primo gol in Serie A. Un ragazzo fantastico, un campione con un grande futuro davanti.
Scored his first career Serie A goal this season, did Mattia De Sciglio. That was against Crotone and Juve's 3-0 win back in November.
Brought in to be the replacement essentially for Stefan Lichtsteiner. Did get his time. Solid defensively this season.
Meanwhile, here comes Giorgio Chiellini, a world champion and 7 consecutive Scudetto winner. Man who joined Juve back in the mid part of the 2000s.
Well, the PA announcer referring to him as the nightmare of strikers. 472 appearances with Juventus, and part of that lovely spine, heart of the defense, and not many defenders do it like him. He's brash, he's aggressive, loves the physical side of the game.
And he is out of contract at the end of this season, Giorgio Chiellini, but something tells me they're going to sort that out.
Oh, they better sort that out. Always want Chiellini to be your leader at the back. Now seeing the softer side. One of the main reasons for the success that Juve have had.
Meanwhile, Mehdi Benatia has made an impact this season, especially down the middle stretch of the campaign. I recall after that come-from-behind victory over Udinese, after Gianluigi Buffon said, "We do not win Scudetti by scoring 6 goals and conceding 2. Benatia and De Sciglio both started getting more playing time, and suddenly Juve were a significantly stronger defensive side.
I seem to cement that role right alongside Chiellini as the best defensive pairing. Ex-Roma center back, and used a lot more this season than he was in the previous one. A mixture of technique, strength, athleticism.
And a man who's now won 4 consecutive league titles, but has just been turned down for a handshake. Mehdi Benatia won a couple of Bundesliga trophies with Bayern Munich in back-to-back seasons before now doing the same with the old lady. Pjanic is next, another former Roma player.
Il perno del centrocampo bianconero, con quei piedi di velluto, lancia i compagni, infila punizioni all'incrocio, fa girare la palla.
Velvet feet, the PA announcer said, the architect of Juventus, dead ball specialist. And there is Edin Pjanic, his son making a guest appearance as well, up the carpet.
E 2 Coppa Italia. Bianconeri, il nostro numero 5, Miralem.
Pjanic wins his 2nd Serie A title in back-to-back years with Juventus after 5 seasons in the capital with the Giallorossi. With Roma, I should say. Edin, one of the stars of Juve's Netflix series this season.
It was a big part of it, that's for sure. Go check it out if you haven't. I'm sure a lot of Juventus fans watching have already.
Well, speaking of champions, here's Sami Khedira.
Described by his intelligence, his tactical understanding of the game. No better way to say it for Sami Khedira in a record goal-scoring season. 9 goals on the campaign. Remember that hat-trick against Udinese. And it's also his locker room experience, even with the German national team, considered one of the main leaders.
13 trophies over the last 8 seasons for Sami Khedira, between Real Madrid and Juventus. And of course, 3 straight league and cup doubles with Juve.
mascheggia sulla fascia, che giochi di punta o da terzino. Quando parte in velocità non c'è modo di fermarlo. Quando la vede la
pure pace, electrifying player.
Come quello a San Siro.
A double espresso of a winger, Juan Cuadrado.
Ha regalato 17 assist e soprattutto ci ha sempre fatto divertire da morire.
And I think that's the best way to describe him. He's always made the fans have fun. That's been his style, whether at right back or right winger. One of the more entertaining players on this Bianconeri side.
The Colombian international steps up to collect his medal. Juan Cuadrado contributed to 10 goals this season for Juve. And as you mentioned, last couple of appearances we've seen from Cuadrado were at right back. Not right wing back, right back in the back four.
I think we'll see a lot more of that.
E alla Juve da tutta una vita. È campione d'Italia per la 7ª volta consecutiva. Siamo cresciuti insieme e insieme abbiamo riscritto la storia.
We've grown together. We've written history together.
Il nostro numero 8, Claudio.
Il Principino, Juventus through and through.
Well, he's only spent one season away from Juve, and that was before making his senior team debut. He was sent on loan to Empoli. He has spent his entire Serie A career with Juventus.
And a brilliant footballer. He's had a bit of a dip because of the injuries, but when he's at his best, such a dynamic presence, box to box, can play anywhere, and one of the leaders behind the scenes by all accounts. Really great personality.
A grin on the face of Gonzalo Higuain.
Sono 2 dei 40 che ha segnato in 2 stagioni in bianconero e sono i pilastri del 7º tricolore consecutivo. E il terrore delle difese, il nostro numero 9, Gonzalo.
40 goals in 2 seasons since coming over from Napoli in that record goal-scoring season where he had 36 strikes, 90 million euro signing, and the starting striker of Juventus. A 16-goal campaign this year, and that was enough to give Juve their 7th straight.
Well, he was the capocannoniere before he joined Juventus, and he hasn't stopped scoring goals for the old lady. Numbers a bit down this year, but his contribution elsewhere has not been. 16 goals this season is well short of the 24 he scored the previous season, and certainly short of the 36 that he netted for Napoli. But his hold-up play and the way he's allowed for these wingers to get involved, he's kept himself involved as a permanent fixture in the 11. And this man can very well be the future of Juventus.
The joy of football is what he's been referred to. The most talented player on Juventus. A fabulous season, 22 goals, despite missing large chunks of it.
There was a bit of drama in this season for Paulo Dybala. The midpoint of the campaign, dropped from the starting 11 while he recovered from an injury. But back to make a big impact on the final stretch.
Here's the lightning bolt flash. Douglas Costa, one of the best players in 2018 when he started playing a lot more regularly. He can always find space, has a magical left foot.
E la nostra saetta è il nostro numero 11, Douglas.
Well, arguably Juve's MVP for his contributions late in the campaign.
Absolute
there isn't
assist.
A defender in Serie A that could keep pace with Douglas Costa.
An assist machine. A little bit of confusion several times with players not knowing where to go, but Costa doesn't care. He can get wherever he needs to very quickly.
I believe he's being trolled. Well, he joined officially on loan from Bayern Munich, but that's did include a purchase clause. Well, this man became one of the best left backs on the planet, playing for Juventus, especially last season. Alexandro next up.
The motorcycle, Alexandro, up and down that left-hand side. And he gives them that extra gear when he's bombing forward. Good crosser of the ball. And a big part of Juve's starting 11 as their left back. Imagine this place when Buffon gets announced.
Well, left back and left wing, Alexandro at times.
That's true. So we saw Cuadrado move back. We saw Alexandro move forward. Oh, because of the way that Allegri likes to shift around players, versatility.
One thing that Juve have done very well over the last several seasons, lure players that know how to win, likes of Sami Khedira and Mario Mandzukic. Well, this man falls into that category. Blaise Matuidi, a Ligue 1 winner with Paris Saint-Germain, a Serie A champion in his first season with Juventus.
And as soon as he came, Blaise Matuidi became part of the starting 11. Box to box, energetic. For every Pjanic, you need a Matuidi. You need someone to do the dirty work for the playmakers. And Matuidi, his ball recoveries, his runs up and down the pitch. He has endeared himself right away to you, the Juve faithful.
He made 32 appearances in Serie A this season. At age 31, Blaise Matuidi, coming over from PSG over the summer transfer window. And it is the work rate, the energy that he provides. Also contributed a handful of goals, 3 in his first Serie A campaign. Andrea Barzagli, all smiles.
7 straight Scudetti for him. He joined from Wolfsburg. There wasn't a lot of expectations. And then he immediately became a starter in Conte's 3-5-2. The BBC of Barzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini. A big reason for the start of this dominance.
Had to wait quite a while after the World Cup to make his return from injury. Barzagli, Juventus waited for him, and one of the images I have ingrained in my head was when he was close to making his return back onto the pitch. Barzagli was playing with the reserves, the Primavera Juventus side. Storari was at the stadium, at the venues, the only fan there holding a flare and chanting for Barzagli on his way back. Basically, Barzagli had one ultra at that match, and it was Storari. Oh, fresh off of his Juve Serie A debut. There's the backup goalkeeper.
Well, they said it. He's from Turin. He's Juve through and through. He's been sent on loan most of his career, and today he made his debut, coming in for Gigi Buffon.
Oh, Warrior is right. Here's Mario Mandzukic.
Just think back to that Inter game, the gash that he played with. You can almost see it right down to the bone, and he somehow played with that injury for more than 45 minutes. He is one of the Juve favorites. Rediscovered himself as a target winger on the left-hand side. That's why his goal numbers have gone down, but his contributions have not. The Warrior.
Bundesliga winner with Bayern. Cup winner with Atleti. And now 3 consecutive doubles with Juventus. Well, this is a player whose season was cut short by injuries. Benedikt Hubbard is on loan from Schalke. Only managed to make 3 Serie A appearances for Juve. When he collects his winner's medal.
Called a true professional, also a World Cup winner, and that's exactly what you were referring to before, bringing in winners, whether it's Blaise Matuidi winning the Ligue 1 trophies or Benedikt Hubbard being a starter for a World Cup winning Germany in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. These are players that know what it's like to be in the big moment. And Havertz, who had a lot of injury problems in the start of the season, looking to be healthier.
loan did include an option to make the move permanent from Schalke. Meanwhile, this is a goodbye for Kwadwo Asamoah.
The silent senator is what he's been referred as, Kwadwo Asamoah.
Well, he's been with the club for 6 of these 7 straight Scudetti, Asamoah, and today he says goodbye to the old lady.
Joined from Udinese, was a central midfielder, converted by Conte to a left wing back, and a starter for many of those seasons. 6-time Scudetto winner, Asamoah. And he got quite a bit of time today, this season, filling in often for Alexandro.
18 starts, 19 appearances for Asamoah, and again that versatility, allowing him to find ways to get into Allegri's lineup. Oh, the heir apparent, Wojciech Szczesny, makes his way to the stage.
He was incredible when he played. Szczesny, I thought, one of the best goalkeepers in Serie A. He nearly went 50-50 for playing time in the league with Buffon, trying to get him ready for next season. Next season, starting goalkeeper, Wojciech Szczesny.
Well, he was already one of the best in Serie A, one of the best in Europe when he joined Juventus, agreeing to be a second choice behind Gianluigi Buffon. And this season, he made 17 appearances in the calcio. Meanwhile, another look toward the future and the present as Daniele Rugani makes his way on. Another player who's seen his influence grow this campaign after maybe being a bit frustrated in previous seasons.
He's a classy defender. 2 seasons with Empoli, he didn't pick up 1 yellow card as a starting center back. He does it through finesse, much more in the mold of Andrea Barzagli than Giorgio Chiellini. And the future of that back line. Mattia Caldara is going to join this summer, and it might very well be a Rugani-Caldara center back tandem for the future.
When you wonder what the future holds, if it is a Rugani-Caldara partnership going forward, and they would have big shoes to fill in the post-Bonucci, Barzagli, Chiellini era. Not that Chiellini's necessarily going anywhere yet.
How about that? The foreigner with the most Scudetti ever won in Serie A, Stefan Lichtsteiner. The PA announcer throwing all sorts of amazing facts. The Swiss Express, the starting right wing back for Juventus the last 7 years, coming over from Lazio. Durable, hardy, consistent.
Ex-Lille, ex-Lazio. But it took joining Juventus to reach the mountaintop to win the titles, and he's won 7 of them in a row. Not sure I've seen Lichtsteiner smile more than we have today throughout the game. And I'm not sure I've seen Mandzukic smile yet. Stefano Sturaro now making his way to the stage.
A fighter who sacrifices all heart. Maybe not the most talented, but someone who's always going to put in an honest shift when he's called upon. I remember he was playing quite a bit that season at Juve, beat out Real Madrid in the Champions League semi-final, making it all the way to the final. And Sturaro had a big influence in this game, denying James Rodriguez a goal for Real Madrid.
Well, he came over when Max Allegri did. For Sturaro, it's his 4th consecutive season and his 4th consecutive League and Cup double. Well, the young midfielder from Uruguay, Rodrigo Bentancur, up next.
Still hasn't turned 21, but the personality of a veteran. Never misses a pass. He's technical, can play that deep-lying playmaker role. He can play anywhere in the midfield. Such a classy player, and really does play with a wiseness that's far beyond his years. I'm very excited for Bentancur in the following seasons.
We also look forward to seeing him at the World Cup. He's on the provisional roster, the 26-man list for Oscar Washington Tabárez for Uruguay. We do expect he will make the final team, Rodrigo Bentancur. Well, if you want to know more about Rodrigo Bentancur. Just consider that in the arguably biggest match of the season to that point, Max Allegri called on him to start against Real Madrid.
Un'eleganza di movimenti che solo i fuoriclasse sanno mettere a servizio della squadra. Una voglia incredibile di vincere e di migliorare.
Federico Bernardeschi up next.
Come lui ce ne sono pochi, davvero. Il suo calcio è rock and roll. Lui è il nostro numero 33, Federico.
A season that was impeded by injuries, especially down the final stretch, Bernardeschi, but a player who has a lot to give Juventus going forward.
Juve investing heavily in the ex-Fiorentina man. Good technique, a wonderful left foot, plays best as a right winger, but he does have those movements that you expect from a fuoriclasse. Just needs more consistency, more playing time. It'll come.
One of the summer reinforcements along with Douglas Costa this past season. Now the technical staff for the old lady making their way out.
Maurizio Trombetta, Aldo Dolcetti, Claudio Filippi, Simone Folletti, Andrea Pertusio, Roberto Sassi, Duccio Ferrari Bravo, Stefano Grani.
Well, two big names they have yet to call. And here they come. And first will be the manager, Max Allegri.
Insaziabile, un martello, 4 scudetti e 4 Coppa Italia.
Oh, he's been amazing, hasn't he, since coming over from Milan. All he's done is win domestically. He's taken Juventus to the Champions League final twice, something that his predecessor said wasn't possible with Juventus's budget.
Man who's not afraid of a challenge. Imagine stepping in to replace Antonio Conte after what he achieved with the club. Allegri took up that challenge. And they say the only thing harder to do than win is to continue winning, to repeat. He has taken an already champion caliber Scudetto winning Juventus and taken them to new heights. And I can't imagine who's going to be announced last. Well, years from now, your kids and your grandkids will tell you about their favorite goalkeeper. You'll tell them you saw Gianluigi Buffon.
Words don't suffice. Numbers can only tell us so much. An Italian legend and a Juventus legend.
973 minuti e potremo andare avanti all'infinito. E l'infinito deve essere il vostro grande applauso per l'unico, per il numero 1, Gianluigi!
It is about the Scudetto, but it is also very much about the departure of a Juve living legend. He's got the gloves on. Might want to remove those before shaking hands. He was subbed out ages ago. He's going to sleep in his kit tonight.
E il direttore per strategy e media di team Luca Iosi consegnano la Coppa Campioni d'Italia 2017-2018 al capitano Gianluigi Buffon. La Juve è campione d'Italia per la 7ª volta. La Juve è campione.
Juventus, your 2017-2018 champions, winners of the Italian Serie A for the 7th consecutive year. And the old lady is immortal. Oh, sensational stuff from Juventus all season long. Who knows what the future holds for Buffon? Won't wait too long to find out. What the here and now looks an awful lot like glory. Prosecco maybe doesn't have the same effect in the rain. Bernardeschi's not giving up to Prosecco. It's Pjanic with the trophy. And inevitably the question becomes, can they do it again? 7 in a row, matching the 7 won by Lyon in Ligue 1, the only other side to run off 7 straight.
Hard to imagine
getting it done in Serie A, and they will be an absolute contender again next season.
Will it even ever happen again or come close to happening again? Repeating this sort of dominance, this sort of dynasty. An incredible feat. Deserved and worthy.
And Chesney surely believes there's more to come. Khedira has done a lot of winning, and it never gets old. Paulo Dybala's turn with the trophy.
What a start he had in the first half of the season. Dybala couldn't stop scoring.
12 goals in his first 8 matches of the campaign in all competitions for Paulo Dybala. But season took a turn for, well, let's say the uncharacteristic when it comes to Dybala at the midpoint. But to his credit, whatever it was, he seemed to overcome it and come back just in time. What a day for Buffon.
Despite all the speculation about his future, all that matters is this moment for Buffon, enjoying his final Scudetto, the most successful player in Serie A history in terms of trophies won.
Well, not in the eyes, Bernardeschi. Chesney needs those to keep the ball out of the net. Second longest tenure of any of the Juve players currently is Claudio Marchisio. He's been there 10 seasons with the first team. Well, Marchisio was a 15-year-old boy when Gianluigi Buffon signed from Parma.
And at that time, it was seen as a big price to pay for a goalkeeper.
It was a world record to pay for a goalkeeper.
I'd say it's worth it. It's been worth it.
4 World Cups since that day. Buffon played in all 4 of them and won the 2006 World Cup. Victory lap continues for Gigi Buffon. Juve's spirit animal. Wonder what he did with all those scarves. And you don't always get to choose how you make your exit. And Buffon has, and he's doing it in spectacular fashion as a champion.
How about that gift at the end? One more captain's armband.
How's that for a snapshot? The 5 current Juve players who have won all 7 consecutive Scudetti. And of those guys, Marchisio's still under contract, and he's the only one. Mattia De Sciglio is going to make off with the trophy. Not bad for a first season at Juve for De Sciglio, who again started to grow in influence at about the midpoint of the season. Limited to 10 starts. Better late than never for Rodrigo Bentancur, who slides in last. Maybe the realization starting to set in that this is goodbye.
Imagine also the lasting legacy that this team will hold in Italy. They'll always be referred to anytime people talk about the all-time greats, all-time greatest dynasties and consecutive streaks. Or that 49-match undefeated streak that they had with this current crop as well.
Nearly a decade-long dynasty. Again, no sign of slowing down. There will be decisions to make over the summer transfer window. They have overcome the loss of great talent in the past, and they've continued to win.
Still a goalkeeper that could play anywhere. Fabulous leader, fabulous presence, and he still decides plenty of points during the course of a season with his saves. And he gets to leave on a high as well.
Well, we're not quite done yet, but we are going to step aside for a quick commercial break. Stay with us. You're watching the Juve trophy celebration from the Allianz Stadium, where Juventus are Italian champions for the 7th year running. Don't go away.